No matter what time of the day it be, Cappy tweet from Downer Debbie.
Yes. It's that time again. Sit back, relax, and let us take you home. We are Two Dudes, One Pod.
What's up? Casper Villa here, along with Crypto Ray, here at the Sunset Room in Hacienda. We took last week off, had some really dope interviews take place. We'll get into a little bit of that. But yeah, just kind of decompressing a little bit. We're out the grind last week, so
Yeah, it was cool. It's good to see the response with Laura.
yeah.
Man, that's when you know how many fans she has. She got a lot of views. Came out really good, the content. So Laura, man, hopefully she does some more of her own content, some more podcasting. I know she's into that. Plus, Laura's also just had knee surgery.
Yes.
So we wish her a speedy recovery, Laura.
Get well
Love
soon,
you.
Laura. But do you know what kind of surgery was on her knee? Like a ACL, MCL, or just
I
we'll have to
have
ask her.
Dr. Clapper. after.
Dr. Clapper put the vision
How
on
are
there.
ya?
No, but we got a good I just thought it was really cool to get behind the curtains, so to speak, with each of them, with Pepe Mantilla, Laura Romo, Jesse Heyman, and we got others in the pipeline coming up. But I think what we really want to get out of this is we know them so much as radio personalities, and but I think it's really cool to just see their other aspects of their life, how they got
Right.
to this point, what are their passions outside beyond radio, and just gives you a little bit more of a intimate type of settings.
Morales says he wants to come on, so we're still trying to figure that out. He wants to come on before the Mandys. So shout out to Morales. We got to share a cigar.
Oh, that's right.
It's,
You got to go down in like Goodfellas style, right?
Yeah, it was, man. We're gonna meet at Foco de Chao, but Morales pulls a power move at the last minute. It's like we're gonna meet here,
Right.
at the cigar, the 888 over in DTF, downtown Fullerton,
Okay.
exclusive cigar club.
Oh, wow. Wow. Did they give you your own exclusive little cigar pen or anything like that?
Morales pulls up, and he's like Norm there. No, Morales. We go into the little, what do they call? Is it a humidor or whatever, where they have the cigars where you go in there?
Oh, right. I've never been to like a cigar
Yeah,
spot like
it's an
that.
experience. Yeah, I'm new at it too, so I'm just trying to play.
Did they like cut it and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like in front of you?
First you pick out the cigar. He's okay, Crypto. You probably need a mild one,
Mm.
So he gets me a nice mild one, and he probably gets himself something really good, strong,
Right.
And then you take it to the cigar guy. I'm sure there's a name for him, like at Starbucks there's a barista, right?
Mm.
So I'm sure in a cigar there's a lounge, there's a name for that guy. But then he, cuts it for you, and then we're in this front room, and I'm thinking we're gonna sit there, and then we're going to the back, and then there's like a little corridor to the back, and you go to this private area,
And everyone's like
Yeah.
greeting him as you're walking.
feeling like a baller.
Yeah.
Nice fancy little bar.
Heck yeah.
Ordered some drinks. But yeah, we chatted about the Mandys and what's gonna happen and stuff that's gonna go down, and it seems like he really listened to the feedback of the fans. So we're going back to the tables,
Mm-hmm.
going back to I don't want to give out too much information because everything's in the works, and you want to make sure it's all gonna play out.
Right.
But the plan is at least to have the tables again on like a dinner and some drinks with the ticket price,
Right.
which is looking around the $50 range.
Okay.
But
And the tickets have gone on sale, correct?
not yet.
Oh, not yet?
Not yet. They're about to. If I'm guessing, it'd probably be sometime this week.
Right.
So, but
Because I know they've been hitting you up in the DMs, right?
Yeah,
Also wanting to get
everybody
that.
wants to be, see now, even the haters, man.
Yeah.
Battle it with. Hey, it was all jokes.
It was all
right?
joking with you, man. Oh,
I
just
think I
get
can
in,
get a hookup.
just hack.
So we're gonna try our best to accommodate everybody up front. There's only 9 to a table,
Right.
And, you know, this was easy before, but the circle keeps growing. So
Right.
it's like, wow, now it's like, I think we're up to 3 tables right now. So hopefully we get those up front, and we get the idea is at least we're all sitting in the same area.
Mhm.
And then I think the situation after the Mandy's is going to be better too, post Mandy's, meaning it's going to be a big area to hang out. And,
Last year it was like in that studio room or like kind of that theater room.
right.
And then people like it kind of dispersed and people kind of went on their
Yeah.
way to different spots, and it was kind of hard to corral, get everyone in the same spot. So I think it's gonna be like the after party is gonna be basically in the same spot, right?
Right. I'm not sure the same spot. I'm guessing that's the way because it's a different area of the Commerce Casino in a more open floor. But I'm sure we'll get all the details, but we all will be hanging out
Yeah,
together.
yeah, for sure.
So it should be a good time. Jason from Nevada's coming out.
Oh, that's right,
Hasn't
that's
come to
right.
Mandy's yet.
So glad that you're coming out, Jason. So glad, bro. We got to see kind of your story about what you're doing out there to really help the people with hunger and really provide food banks and things of that nature. So really glad you're going to be out here. Really want to talk to you and get to know you, man. I think this is what makes these events so special, especially this one. It's like,
Yeah, even John Ferris, I talked with him, reached out to me. He's gonna go, gonna sit with us, and we all know he went through that battle, that leukemia battle,
right.
and he's still recovering, you know, and but he's definitely wants to make it out to the Mandy's, and he's gonna be out there. So yeah, a lot of good stories, a lot of good people
Yeah.
and stories out there.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to give a quick condolences, RIP, to the great Bill Walton. It really just kind of blows my mind, Ray, to hear these deaths. Like, obviously, death is inevitable,
Right.
but it's still just shocking, right? When these figures that you've kind of grown up with throughout your life, I was a huge just Bill Walton advocate. I'm sure a lot of
Right.
us were, and so to see from cancer, correct? He had been battling cancer, and I think he was only in his mid 70s
Yeah,
or
he
something
was
like that.
71.
Yeah, and
71.
just really makes me reflect on like with my parents, as you and your mom, you know, they're above that age or at that age, man. So it just really makes it like kind of like, man, I want to spend that much more time with my dad, my mom, and
Yeah, so that's why, like, my mom's 80. She's gonna be 81 in August, and I'm gonna take her on a cruise.
oh yeah, where to?
I'm gonna do like a Cabo cruise,
Oh, okay,
but I'm not a big fan of cruises. I've never been on a cruise.
right.
I've done a lot of traveling, but not by boat.
hmm
It's been kind of like my thing, but that's what she wants, so we're gonna.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I went with my parents to same kind of a cruise, and it was fun.
Cool.
Like they have a lot of different like activities you can do on the ship, like, and they have different shows on the ships that you can do. It's not, you know, obviously there's kind of like those booze weekend cruises type
Yeah.
thing, but this, you know, what you're describing seems like there's more of a demographic of people. It's not just like a party kind of a thing, though. That is also fun to do, though.
Yeah, this whole Bill Walton thing, it was like, it's just like, you know, there's a rivalry, Lakers, Celtics, but man, it's like, is there anybody that doesn't like Bill Walton? Everybody loves Bill Walton.
Yeah, dude.
For him to play for the Celtics,
Right.
you know, he has his UCLA
Right.
roots and
Mm-hmm.
San Diego roots.
Exactly.
So, but everybody loves it. To hear all the stories from everyone that's coming out of the woodwork, like,
Right. I mean, I remember just like when he was on NBC, when the NBA was on NBC, and him and his partner Snapper Jones like had such a great dynamic with each other. It was really like what I got into basketball watching was those two commentary, and it was just, you know, from his playing days, which I don't think a lot of people recognize just how big of a stud he was in hoops, dude. Like he was legitimately, there's no doubt in my mind, if he doesn't hit those injuries, bro, like he's one of the tops with Kareem. Like he was a special center, like his skill set at all. Just really unfortunate. It's really a bummer.
well, and then to do what he did in broadcasting, like he broke the mold. Like he was like He was Charles Barkley before Charles Barkley, right? I mean,
It's a good comparison right
yeah, where he just said was on his mind.
there.
He wasn't like your typical broadcasting, kind of cookie cutter broadcaster. He just, and I'm sure he got in trouble a few times,
Right, right.
but yeah, that's who he is, and yeah, he's definitely going to be missed. And now that the Celtics are going to the championship, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's
It
just the
might
timing,
it
right?
might align now. It
Yeah, I mean,
might be their time. A reminder to kind of live it up, right? Live it, seize the moment, live it up to the fullest. As the great Pepe would say, life is too short to waste your time on the negative stuff, on pessimism, all that stuff. It's, just
yeah, definitely. He's a great guy, and like you say, always positive. Always, the guy had a bunch of energy, so he definitely didn't waste any time. Like,
real quick story. I had a friend of mine that went to school with me up at Humboldt State, and she was from San Diego. And she told me this funny story about how she used to date Luke Walton back when she lived out in San Diego and stuff. And she would go over to their house, and he said the dude has a full-on like teepee, like life-size teepee in his backyard.
makes sense.
But I was like, yeah, that sounds about right with Bill Walton right
Right.
there. Price drops. I went to go get some food the other day, and I noticed that the menu in the fast food is
Yeah.
getting a little bit cheaper, and you had sent me something about an article how Wendy's, McDonald's, and like these big time stores now are dropping Target, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think that has
I don't
to
know,
do
it's
with?
like I think they overshot it. Like, I think this all started with the pandemic,
Right.
and that's when it just started like testing us, like how much would they pay? And they need the merchandise, they need the product, and then they use the pandemic as oh well, things are more expensive and things are harder to get to, and then they're like, hey, okay, they're kind of used to it now. Then the pandemic was over.
Right.
Well, let's raise prices a little more.
Right.
So I think now what they're feeling is the pushback from people like, wow, this is like way too expensive. I know there's inflation, but I mean, it just goes to prove that, or to show that for them to do a reversal like this, with pricing, it's just like, I mean, they always could, right?
Right.
So, I mean, so I know there's talk in fast food about people getting paid more and that kind of stuff too, but it's interesting to see stuff starting to drop. Boy, did we need that.
It's one thing with like vehicles or housing and things of that nature. Like there's going to be that natural spike, so forth. But I mean, when you're going to McDonald's and you want to get like a little burger meal and it's costing you like $10, it just defeated the whole purpose of like what these establishments are for. It's like, look, you ain't Michelin restaurants, all right? You are fast food, and we get that, and that's what makes it convenient sometimes. So when I'm getting like a burger and it's $10, and I'm like, man, I might as well just go to an actual restaurant and just get this stuff. So
Same price.
yeah, so man, and I'm just glad that they are dropping those prices and things where you would, in the basic items. Now I know gas here is still kind of high, but hopefully that will dwindle a little bit more. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go after this and maybe get a little Wendy's.
Yeah, it's interesting how prices were here, and then they shot up to here, and now they're down to here, and they're saying, yeah, we're slashing prices, like
Right.
cutting.
Right.
Or are we just getting back to where we
Yeah,
fit?
exactly. It's like those sales that they do, right? Where they're like, everything's off to 80%. Like, oh, you're like, oh my God, this is only $30, when it was like probably originally it was already $30. They just skyrocketed it.
Yeah, I go to that Brea Mall, and I go through that entrance by Red Robin, the Brea Mall, and they always have that one jewelry store
Oh, right.
right when you walk into your left, and every time I walk through, it could be any day, any week, any month, it's always the same. 70% off, 80% off.
Right.
It's either 70 or 80% off.
See, we don't have a lot of Lakers news outside the fact of JJ Redick might be the head coach, but
But basketball news, the women's basketball, you notice the turn up
Yes.
media attention,
Yes.
more people getting involved, more people watching games. Caitlin Clark, versus, against the Sparks, that I would had like 19,000 people show up.
Michael
crypto.
Thompson was there too with
Yeah.
Clay, his son. So,
Yeah, that was pretty cool just to see the turnout. I was watching the Dodgers, I was watching the Lakers, and I was watching the Sparks. So yeah. I mean, not the Lakers, the playoff game,
who was it? The
was Mavs.
Mavs and the
and
T-Wolves.
Yeah, it was Mavs, Minnesota. It was the Sparks, Indiana, and it was Dodgers, Reds.
Yeah, Yama.
Yeah,
nice. So
so
watching.
I like to go there or like a sports bar with a lot of screens or with big screens and stuff when there's a lot of games going on at the same time.
But yeah, also the Mandy's is coming up, and there's voting out there taking place. Make sure you're voting for your favorite personalities out there, and just keep posted with news that we'll be bringing up as the Mandy's get closer. I know Crypto Ray and I want to do a little Mandy special.
We do the whole ballot. We go over the whole ballot, and we kind of give our opinions. Maybe not necessarily our votes, but our opinions on who we think should win or why, or the arguments for each person.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think, oh, that person don't deserve it. Then as you start looking, when you're a real P1 and you listen to the shows every day, and you start seeing some points that could be made or some arguments for some of these people.
Yeah, like for example, Michael Funches. Funchy Funch.
Great guy, man.
Like, I don't think people truly understand like how much he's working on like these on the different shows. You just don't hear them from him, but like the dude's out there grinding, especially doing content for the Lakers post game and all that stuff. Like he's all in that stuff. So I think like you're right. It'd be cool. It would be awesome to kind of break down the candidates.
I can't wait to see the comments on that one. Well, speaking of comments, we've noticed people commenting more on the podcast, and we really appreciate it.
We do.
A lot of great comments and a lot of good feedback. That one will be interesting as we talk about each person. I can't wait to see the comments on that one.
And we're also going to do, I think we're going to start to introduce questions that you might have in regards to just different topics. We're going to start to post it on Twitter. We do our episode Tuesdays in the most part, every Tuesday. So we'll try to post it the Monday following that Tuesday. If you want to send in questions, you want to send in feedback, different topics that you might be interested in us focusing on and touching on. And so we'll go ahead and start doing that and putting it in the communities. So and then we'll start collecting your questions or topics or whatever. I know Jonathan Watson does he's kind of the de facto producer, so he has a lot of good content that he puts out there. So yeah, just another way to try and create more
speaking of
dialogue and so forth.
Jonathan Watson, he wants to come on, so we're gonna have him on. He's a good guy that has a lot. We just got to figure it out. I know that Mason wants to come on. We just got to figure the timing also. DeAndre wants to come on.
Lindsay Baseball
wants to come on. That'll be a really good episode. Lindsay Baseball, she's kind of polarizing, like
she's like the
a lot
LeBron.
of people just really, really love her, and then she's got a few haters, but that's comes with the territory.
Right.
But I can't wait to have Lindsay Baseball on. Who else? I feel like, John Ireland wants to come on. So little by little, some of the, what do they call the kids in the back?
Yes, Grant and Anthony,
Warren, and all these guys.
Yes.
It's great to see the perspective at all levels. And when we started this, we're like, this is going to be a show, by the P1s, for the P1s. The idea was to get P1s on here, get to know more about them and who listens to the station. But it's been like a pleasant surprise that like even the host and people that work there want to come on.
Right.
And that's really great because people do want to know more than the bit or more about them than
exactly
what, how they appear on the radio.
Right.
But yeah, looking forward to having P1s too down the road. But so it's great to, when you have a podcast, you want filler stuff, right? You want content. you want to be able to bring people on, and it's great that our plates are going to be kind of full for a little bit.
I like to kind of coin it like the summer series. You know, we got
Right.
summer coming, and it's like our summer series classic where we get to kind of have that chill mode, sit down with the personalities and get those vibes. Maybe have some little drinks with us.
Cappy wants to come on too, right?
Oh yeah,
Cappy. So.
and then maybe Lil Cappy. This summer is going to be really, really dope. But
Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No, go for
One
it.
thing I forgot to mention in talking with Morales, and everything's about what you're doing at that time and your schedule and all that. But we're still trying to work out like a Halloween party / P1 awards, or for fun. Nothing's fancy. You're not gonna get a big champagne bucket with nuts and champagne, but it's more about honoring the P1s because they all bring different stuff.
right.
Tommy, the best puppet award. He's got a lot of competition. There's
Debbie Downer, the best downing tweets.
So yeah, so that would be fun and get dressed up. I've noticed there hasn't been in the last few years anyway, like a thing for Halloween, right? Where we've all got together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dress up and stuff.
Yeah, I think that would be really awesome. That'd be really
So
awesome.
that's in the works, and the only way to make stuff like that happen is you got to start talking about it in April, May, June.
Start building it
So that
slowly.
way we could really make it something. So if anybody has ideas too,
Yeah. Shoot those ideas out there. All right, man. Well, this is just a little short little show. We're going to be sending out more updates as we get closer to those interviews, because I know Omar and Mr. Sacco provided some great feedback in terms of giving them maybe a heads up, which is, it's a little tough because though we know who we're going to interview, sometimes it can just be like when they're available, and knowing like they're out there in Los Angeles, they're doing their shows, they have their other little projects they're doing. So basically, whenever they have that time available, that's when we're going to do it. Like, I think the Pepe interview was like the day before, basically, like, hey, I'm available. And we're like, all right, let's do it,
So the goal is, we really want to interview these guys. If we can find a way to get into ESPN studios and catch them in there.
Yeah.
So that'll be something if we could pull that off.
Hey, we'll see, man. If you build it, they'll come.
Yeah, you never know.
Appreciate you tuning in. We're going to be outie, though. Circle.